Hey, ladies and gentlemen, welcome, and good evening. I want to thank you so much for joining me tonight on the late one in review, where we look at some of the top news and we review it and our perspective. And today is the 9th of June, 9th of June, as we step into it's halfway into the year, July, going all the way down into December. We're passed out of COVID. Is a time of that. And of course, many people will say we're out of that, but then we're going to get into, we talk about monkeypox and all those different things. Tonight, we just want to touch on different topics. And the key topic that we're looking at tonight, you know, which is there's so many different things, but which is one, right to buy extensions to make home ownership possible for millions more people in the UK. Jamaica just talked about that recently about, you know, right to buy, right to buy something with Margaret Thatcher was one of the architects about. You know, fuel costs, how to save petrol and diesel. Yeah, let's just talk about that if anything. How to save petrol and diesel. I'm sure you're going to the pumps and you're seeing some crazy figures there. Even the time when they talk about that 5p, that 5p went the same day, believe it or not. And guess what? Britain's captured by Russian forces, sentenced to death. Where did they start? Well, they gone to trouble Russia, you know, gone to trouble Ukraine and Russia, where Russia said, "I'm gonna mash up your country." But ladies and gentlemen, let me just bring in Gary and just get the show going. Hey, Gary, how are you doing, sir?
Hey, my friend, I'm good, man. How are you?
I'm cool in the Malibu, at at
That's
a
good. That's good. That's good.
at a busy day, but I just decided and say, let's just make the day greater.
Yeah, well, you have to make the most of it, when it comes.
you know. So how are you doing otherwise, Gary?
Yeah, I'm doing all right. Just it was a busy day for me, also a little
Hmm.
tired, but I'm good. I'm good. I'm.
Well,
It's great
man
to
of
be alive and to
well,
feel tired.
well, the Bible says that if by the sweat of your brow you shall eat bread. So if you don't work, you're not get no food. You know what I mean? That's what
True.
that's what that's what the Bible said. By the sweat of your brow you shall eat bread. Um,
True.
but one of the unfortunate thing, though, even when we talk about that particular point, is that a lot of people are finding it difficult, even though they're working hard to somewhat get bread, you know, in the right way. You know what I mean? So that is a strong factor there. I'm picking up a she background from yourself, but don't worry, we'll do the.
I'm hearing it myself, but I don't. It sounds more like birds to me, and I was
It's all right,
wondering if
birds.
you. Yeah.
Well, if it's birds, maybe they think we're in the park this in the morning. Because when I'm in the park in the mornings, I'm having a great engagement with the birds.
Well, I thought they're coming to visit with you or they're living in your house.
well, well, they can be a guest. They can be a guest tonight, if anything. Welcome with the birds. Um, but yeah, listen. I think the last time we spoke, there wasn't the. I think the last show. No, the last show didn't deal with the bit that the prime minister won. I don't think we talked about that, but I think we
No.
discussed it in many different ways. And that is why I coined the topic tonight: Britain moving forward or backwards. Forward or backwards. And why I coined that topic is because we were seeing the advent and the post-COVID factor, whereby these high rate of interest rate, high rate of inflation, petrol, and it's like things are really getting bad. You know, and you're seeing the world in a sense getting having these fight with Russia. Uh, things are getting bad, but in light of Boris' recent victory, is it a time now to draw a line in the sand and just say, let's move on?
Um.
And what do people think at the same time? Is it a time to just move on?
Well, I mean, how can one move on at this time? I mean, we can move on in the sense of getting on with life because we can't put life on hold.
Mm.
Life still goes on. But I think that in moving on, we have to address the circumstances in which we're in, and the government needs to address to the nation at least. Don't take You see, what the government must not do is take the citizens in which it governs as buffoons.
Or
If
taking them for granted is what you're saying. But
Yes,
buffoon is, but yeah, buffoon maybe is more the right word you want. Was I a bit political correct by saying,
yeah, you're always politically correct.
yeah,
Yeah, you mustn't take us for granted. If
mm,
it's going to rain, tell us it's going to rain. If it's snow, tell the nation it's going to snow, so to speak. Um, and I think that if there's going to be interest rate hikes, tell everybody it's going to um, the interest rates will go up. There was something that Boris said. I don't know if anybody read it. I think it was today he said where the um, the the cost of petrol is going to stay high for a little while. I don't know if you got that, if you heard that, or if you read that somewhere in the papers. Now, that was a good ploy. That was good because at least Boris is saying to the nation what it is and what it's going to be more or less likely. He didn't now in the past. He hasn't said anything about the fuel. He
mm,
said nothing. So in my head, I'm saying, oh, he said that because of what he's been through in regards to the leadership. So he's trying to send a signal to the citizens, to the populace, that
yes,
I'm aware of what's happening out there. So I'm identifying with you as if I'm identifying with you. So he needs to keep that going. He needs to call
a
a
spade.
spade, because it's no use getting up behind the dispatch box or making like a soundbite saying we're going to tackle the high cost of living, because England alone can't do it. The whole world is in a state of panic where that is concerned. So England can't get out of the high cost of living, and the rest of the world is suffering. That won't happen. What the government has to say and send is that, listen, it's going to be rough, and the cost of living will increase. They already said it wasn't even so much the government that said that there's going to be um, fuel price, sorry, fuel prices rise. It was the energy firms that's been saying that. It's not the energy firms that must be saying things like that. The government is the one that has to be giving those messages out.
Mm,
Government needs to send the message out loud and clear before the energy companies, before the food companies, before the manufacturers say anything at all. The government has to send the message out loud and clear that things are going to be difficult, and this
mm,
is going to happen, that is going to happen. We may not get, let's say, for instance, just for argument's sake, we may not get enough wheat. We may not get enough raw materials to do this and to do that. Don't wait for the manufacturers to come out and to say things like that. Because obviously, when the manufacturers or or the business world, the British Chamber of Commerce, in regards to various indicators, when they come out and say things, they're always going to put a spin to say, well, the government needs to do this, as if the government is trying to catch up.
mm.
And it's not a matter. The government is always the governments are always well ahead. They know exactly what is happening. Nothing has ever caught any government unawares, but they don't do anything. They don't say anything. So when it comes out on another media, in another aspect, the government then has to catch up, because sometimes the spin that they give, it's as if, well, the government the government never did this in order to counteract that. So the government needs to do this in order to make things better.
Well,
That
let me
should
just
never happen.
yeah. Thank you, Gary, and thank you for persons joining on Instagram and persons joining on YouTube and Facebook. Somehow the chat is not coming up in my thing here, but I can see on YouTube there, Michelle Clark, peace and love, Sylbourne and Rev. So even though Gary, we're I'm not able to put it on the screen, I can see her because I got the different screens here and also on Instagram. But I like to ask persons this question: Do you think I said the UK moving forward or backwards? And we're going to touch a bit on the whole issue regarding what they're talking about with petrol, because petrol in the States they're talking about $100 or so to fill uh, a car or a family car. In the UK as well, they're talking that as well. Gary, are you getting a feedback? Am I getting a feedback from you? I'm getting a feedback from your side. Gary, I'm gonna make a suggestion. If you go out and come back in and see if we can
Okay.
get that she sound there. You want to do that,
All right.
Gary? Yeah.
Because I'm not hearing anything, but I'll do that. I'll
Yeah,
go out
just
and
go ahead
come
and
back.
come back. Yeah, yeah. Cheers. Yeah. Yeah. So, ladies and gentlemen, I'd just like to ask that particular question because um, it is a crisis situation, not just in the UK, but worldwide when it comes on to the fuel. And as you can see, how to save petrol and diesel is one of the things that they're talking about. How do you save on petrol and diesel? Do you fill your car up to the full extent? Gary's coming back in now. You know, do you fill your car into the full extent? That's all right, Gary. I can hear you still. I'm not getting that feedback. I'm hearing the feedback, but I can always put it on mute until you speak. So that's no problem.
Okay.
Yeah. Fuel costs, how to save petrol and diesel. I saw this article today, and it has all these different factors. How to save petrol and diesel is 56 miles. One of the things they asked Gary is 56 miles per hour the best speed to drive? Many motorists consider driving exactly 56 miles per hour to be optimum for fuel efficiency. However, there is no ideal fixed driving speed. The 56 miles per hour myth came out of fuel consumption. You know, do you do that, Gary? Do you when you're driving? Are you just full up and just drive or so? You know.
Yeah, I mean, I try to be as economical as I can, but when
Mm,
I'm on the road, when I'm on the motorway, I just drive. I mean,
yeah,
listen, whether you drive fast or slow, the to me, the fuel is going to be burnt. It's
yeah,
going to burn up. I mean, and I mean, I've always loved big cars. I've got a big car. I've got a big car engine, so I've
yeah,
always loved that. So I'm prepared to take whatever costs that I have to incur. When it comes to um, buying petrol, I'm not. I'll never. I won't. I'm not going to complain where that is concerned. If I need to buy 50, 60 pounds worth of petrol in order to move around, that's fine.
yeah.
But how you drive on the road? I mean, you can drive stupid. I know. I mean, we were all young once. Weren't you young once, Sylbourne?
I'm always young, Gary. Always young.
So yes, you can wheel spin, burn petrol. You can brake hard, burn petrol, waste
Mhm.
gas and such. But I just buy the fuel when I'm on the road. If I'm supposed to do 30, I'll do my 30, 40s, 50s, whatever the road is. If it's a motorway, I'll do my 75 miles an hour and
Mm.
go where I'm going. I don't know if it saves petrol. I
Yeah.
don't think it does, really.
I noticed what Michelle says that when the government wants to sell us a course of action, they do it by making sure it's the only thing on the agenda. They preload the ensuing discussions, you know, with highly selected images, devious and prejudicial languages, you know. Well, they're selling us a lot of fuel. Are they going to sell us some fuel? you know, the other bit which is mentioned in the article, it talks about switching off air conditioning. You know, if you've ever resisted the urge to reach for air conditioners on a hot summer's day to save fuel, you're right to do so. So that is something that can be used to save fuel. Extra energy is needed to power car conditioning air conditioning system, and turning it on can increase your fuel consumption. One of the things I find very interesting, I don't know if you find that, Gary, have you ever been tempted? Have you ever been tempted to shop around for cheaper petrol at this time? It makes no sense.
No,
'Cause
I don't. Sometimes it is said that the fuel, there's no difference. The only difference is in the fuel is that what you buy at BP, Shell, Texaco, Esso, they put their own additives into the fuel in order to, to, I don't know what it does, but they put whatever they put in it in order. Now, the I heard a story where a young lady, had a nice BMW, and it was a new BMW, or fairly new, and she went to one of the cost cutting stations to buy her petrol. And in no time, and this is a true story, in no time, her engine just went. It was knackered. It was knackered. And when she tried to at least appeal to BMW, because obviously they didn't know, she didn't know why, and they wouldn't know until the question was asked, where are you buying your fuel? And it was not from one of the main line. And when she told them where she bought her fuel, then they said, well, that's not our fault because you're buying cheap fuel. I've never, well, I won't say I've never, I do not make it a practice to go to Asda or to Morrison's
Mm.
or to Tesco if they do sell. I do not make it a practice to go to these people to buy fuel.
The fuels are dodgy. Is that what you're saying?
That's the well. If you've got a high performance car, or if you've got, for instance, a BMW, a Mercedes, a Jag, I mean, Jags are my cars, so I like the XJs or the S types, high
Mm.
performance. Um, I do not buy the low cost fuel, or the low cost fuel. I always find a Shell. I don't know for what reason. It was Texaco at one point. You don't really see much Texacos around, but I
Yeah.
always go to a mainline fuel
Mm.
station.
Yeah. Well, likewise with a high performance vehicle, you try not to get it too messed up because you pay at the end of the day
You do,
when
you do.
things go crazy. Um, the other bit about does coasting save fuel? Coasting is when you drive the car in neutral or with the clutch pedal. I don't know why they taking people for idiots and putting these things out there. Talking about coasting.
No, I mean, when you coast, you have to be careful. For
Yeah,
instance, um, okay, just for argument's sake here, I mean, Jamaica still, and
yeah,
Jamaica can be a very hilly country, or is a hilly country. Before the brand new roads and toll roads were built, you'd have to be going down Mount Diablo or down Fern Gully. Now they're making these brand new Chinese roads as straight as an arrow, and it's mainly downhill. That's why people killing themselves. But the thing
yeah,
about it is that if you've got a manual and you take your car out of gear to coast, you really don't have much control over that car. And
mm,
it has been said that you shouldn't really rely only on your brakes. So if you've got a manual car, and if you needed to slow down in any way, shape, or form,
mm,
in addition to the brakes in which you have, you use your gears to be able to slow your vehicle down with the
yeah, yeah,
compression within the engine,
yeah,
especially again with with what do you call it now? The automatic cars. Again, yes, it's automatic, but when you slow down, the compression as the gears go down, they help to slow the vehicle down. I would never suggest that you do coast. No, because you don't really have control. Even though you may think you got the control,
Yeah.
that does not. Anyway, that does not um, save fuel. I don't see it. Anyway. How can that save fuel?
Yeah. Well, I think the key thing is that the world is on a tailspin, and it's a combination of factors with blaming Russia and blaming things. But as Michelle rightly say, when they want to sell us something, they will put all of this in front of us. I mean, lots of people are talking about, like in America, that they prefer Trump because during Trump time, the petrol was half of what it is now, you know. But I don't think it's a Trump factor. I think it's a world crisis whereby, as we have discussed many times, the leaders of this world lack ideas and they just fear thought, as far as I'm concerned. You know.
Yeah, I mean, I think the you see the the world, the governments in our world today. I don't think I don't think that where they are at this moment is by chance. Even though Ukraine is in war, I think that's been manufactured.
Yes.
I really believe that that has been manufactured. I believe that it may be manufactured and designed to topple Putin. Who is to say? I don't know. Or I've listened to a few commentaries over the past day or two, and um, it has been said that the likes like the Clintons, the
Uh-huh.
the Obamas, the Bidens, um, the who was the president before Barack? Um,
That was Bush.
the Bushes. I've heard that they've got a stake. They've got political stakes or stake monetarily in Ukraine.
Yeah.
How I don't know, but it's being manufactured. It's being planned
Mm.
to destabilize that area so as to, let's say, to topple Putin, to weaken or to weaken his position, but at the same time for these globalists to become more entrenched
Mm.
and and have a foundation within Ukraine. Now now look at the amount of money. Look at the amount of money that they're pouring into Ukraine at this moment.
Is that
Look,
true weapons? But is it actual weapons?
well,
Is it true
that
weapons?
may that may be that may be through the weapons that they're selling. That's fine,
Mm.
but they are still pumping money into the Ukraine.
Mm.
And the funny thing about it, if you, I don't know if you have listened this. Let me say hello to Michelle here. Hi, Mish.
Yeah.
Good to see that you're on board here.
Yeah.
The I don't know if anybody has noticed this, but they are now planning, Silbert, Sylbourne, they
Yeah.
are planning the rebuilding of Ukraine as if the war is going to finish within the next day or two, or within the next week, or within the next month. You don't plan for something until it's done. Now they've already made plans. They're putting in the structures of finance. Have you noticed?
Yeah.
I mean, the European Union, they're talking about pumping in billions of euros for the rebuilding of the infrastructure of Ukraine. Now, why are they talking this way? Why are they talking like that when Russia is all out to destroy Ukraine, the infrastructure that is,
Mm.
and there is no sign of Russia letting up.
Yes.
Absolutely no sign of any decrease of the bombardment of the Ukraine. So
Mm.
something is up. Something is going on. Something is going on. And
Well,
I think
well,
that
well,
I
well, what
really believe.
Michelle says that what is happening is a part of the big agenda.
Well, one thing, there is an agenda.
Uh,
There is an agenda that is happening, Sylbourne, and I think that we, the citizens, you see, whether we like it or not, whether it doesn't matter how many times we meet, or there are um, Huskins. Huskins are little groups that they have when there's party
yes.
conferences, isn't it?
Mm, mm,
So there is a lot of Huskins, if I can use your political term here, sir. There's a lot
yes.
of Huskins going around within Europe and in other parts of the world in regards to Ukraine, and and what they and what's been planned to be done,
Mm,
as if they've got it's as if they've got a handle on things, and they
yes.
don't have a handle on things. I can't. It sounds very strange. Somebody even made a note of it. It was on a Twitter feed that I had, that I'm a part of.
Yes.
Um, they said they said that the builder group, they had their meetings in Washington D.C. in the past week, if not this week,
Mm,
and nothing has been said about that. Now, now we all know. Well, some may not, but there's a few whiz kids out there that knows everything about the Bilderberg, everything um, about the World Economic Forum, as what we've already known of, and it has happened, about the other world groups that come
mm,
together every year to plan, to talk, to share,
yeah.
to at least inform each other of what the next year is going to be. However,
Yes.
however, the WEF that everybody knows about plans to have a meeting every year. We've been told about that. This year, nothing about the Bilderberg Group. Well, put it this way: for the past 2 years, we've heard very little about the Bilderbergs.
Mm,
And there's another group. There's another group that is very important also. I can't remember that they meet. Silborn, there is
mm.
something strange going on in our world today. But you know what's caught the mind?
Something still.
But do you know what's caught the mind of the citizens of this globe? The
What's that?
pandemic, COVID. And you know what else? If you notice, what has the news media here been pushing very quietly? You'll hear them talk about it like every other evening. But when they talk about it, they're very forceful with it. Can you tell me what it is that they're
The
doing?
monkeypox.
Monkeypox. The
Monkeypox.
monkeypox.
They're sneaking. They're sneaking in the monkeypox thing there.
Yeah. And they're
Sneaking it in.
trying, if you notice what they're trying to do, they're trying to raise the fears of those who they know they can. They're trying to raise their fears slowly.
Mm. Well, I tell you, it's very interesting what you said there, and lots of persons have been noting the whole sneaky way how they've been using the monkeypox bit, and I think it's very offensive in a certain way based on the period of the time when it came about and what was happening during the course of that time. And that's why I said many times when I'm doing my walk in the mornings that persons must make sure that they are not allowing the media and things occupy their mind, are occupying them so much whereby they are totally sold out. Because I saw something today whereby there is a, I think I put it on my Facebook page, and it's very interesting, Gary. And I laughed when I saw it. There's a movie which is out, and the movie which is out is called something blasphemous to Muslims. Yeah. So they are demonstrating and they're saying they are shutting it down. And people are writing saying, oh, these people need to let freedom of expression and all these sort of things, and say, oh, we need to have freedom of expression. And I said, lo and behold, here we are. When you had the pandemic earlier and people were wanting to talk about alternative views, talking about the vaccine, we can say the vaccine now, they were canceling everybody. Remember, they were canceling people, they were shutting down, they were blocking them. I was blocked, I was shut down many times on Instagram when we want to have an alternative discussion on the matter. So all is happening now is that people are doing a lateral canceling. So you can't blame people for canceling things out if the government and the big wigs like to cancel things out as well. And that is something which I see which is happening. Subtle ways how things are actually being introduced. And if we're not careful, we are zombified. I use the word zombified again in the figurative sense. You know?
Well, I think we are zombified already. I mean, it, you and I may not be,
Yeah.
but sorry, but I think the nation is personally. I think the majority of this nation is. I
Mm.
mean, look at it like this, Sil. I remember 6 months back. No, say 12 months back. Yeah,
Yeah.
I had people co- coming to me saying, "Oh, let us. We need to social distance. You need to
Yeah.
put on your mask. I need to put on my mask. We need to social distance. All because the government says that.
Yeah.
What now 6 months on, 12 months on, what's changed? Tell me what has changed?
Mm.
I mean, and these very same people, they don't have their mask on anymore, and they're not social distancing. So
Mm.
you see, the government to some extent already has the majority of the people already um, zombified by saying, well, if the government says jump, they will say, how high do you
Mm.
want us to jump? It's not about to say, well, why? You won't find people because even when monkeypox has come, what are
Mm.
some people doing? You know, they are they're afraid. There's some people who are literally
Mm.
afraid of what may happen to them, all because of monkeypox and what
Yeah.
the government has done. The government has placed the seed already in the minds of its citizens. So anything else that comes after monkeypox, you watch. Watch and you will see. If the government says that everybody has to walk on their heads, people are going to do it. They won't ask why. Because
Mm.
they haven't already been completely conditioned, but they're being conditioned. So
Mm.
when the time comes for the government to say and to do whatever they want, the population is not going to ask any questions. Hello, Mish.
Hi
Michelle.
guys,
Yeah.
how you
What
guys?
is Michelle? How are you doing?
Good.
What is Biden saying over there?
Oh, what is? I don't know because I don't listen to the news.
So are you gonna bring us the news then? Or are you gonna tell us what's going on then from a perspective?
Well, from here, our gas is high as well, very high as well. Here, $6 a
Wow.
gallon.
So what was it? What was it a year ago?
Um, a year ago, you could get gas for $3 and change.
Wow.
Mm-hmm.
I remember, Mish. I remember when this was 1980, 81. I remember when I was in the States and I had a little car there and I was paying 99 cents a gallon.
Cents a gallon. Yeah, yeah.
99
Yeah,
cents.
that and yeah, I remember that 60 something cents a gallon. And
Yeah.
those
Yeah, you're right, because I just remember one when it was like even £1 per gallon here in the per
mhm.
liter here in the UK, £1, and then all of a sudden, you know,
For
and
all
that's one of the reasons why lots of people are not so keen and they're fighting going back to work 5 days a week because they won't be able to afford the travel and the train costs and all those sort of things. So the government can't really push people because it's going to hit
mhm.
people big time.
Yeah, and
Big,
they
big, big.
try to let it seems like it has to do with this Ukraine and Russia thing, but it has nothing to do with it. It has nothing to do with it. This is just what they put out there for you to believe that that's what it has to do with. It doesn't have anything to do with it. This was already a part of the agenda.
So it's a
That
scapegoat. It's a scapegoat thing.
this is already a part of it. You know, see, that's how come I don't watch the news. When they go to break, what do they say? We will return to our regular programming after
Yeah,
these. Listen to that
yeah.
programming, and this is what they do to people. They program people.
I always I like you say that, right, what you say, because it's something I always say many times that they program persons, and that's
Hmm.
why we used to have these papers before, these magazines used to call TV program. And therefore, when you think about the word program, it's like grooming. Like when it's a grooming, you know,
Exactly.
grooming was a term. Grooming was a term which was used for people doing their hair and everything like that. But grooming now have this negative connotation because that has to do with pedophilia and all those sort of things.
Mhm.
But at the same time, it was grooming, training, guiding. Programming is program. So therefore, you got to deprogram
You got to
your.
deep. Hmm.
How can you deprogram without information?
So I deprogram. Well, you get your information. You don't have to get it from the media because the media are run by the government. They tell them what to push out there, and
Mm.
that's how it goes. They tell them what to push out, and that's what they have to push out. So that's the focus now that they could distract you from what's really happening.
You know, Gary and Michelle, when Boris Johnson recently won the vote, I noticed something which was coming through from all the networks around the world, you know, and there he is. I'm going to show his face, you know. Be careful, and he's watching us, you know. You know, Boris. They kept saying this. Um, they use it to first of all that the the victory wasn't great, and two, they start to use Margaret Thatcher, what happened to Margaret Thatcher, and they use Theresa May, and they use David Cameron. It was like the same news was going around in the whole world, the same thing. They were using the same line, and they recognize whereby that is how they operate because the major networks are figureheads of 3 or 4 persons, isn't it?
They bombarded with everybody, and this is what everybody is. Oh, and that's how it goes. Programming.
Yes, yes, yes,
They program. It's programming. They've been programming us. But when you know better, you do better. So I
yeah.
know better and I do better. So I don't watch the news. I
Mm.
haven't watched TV. I don't watch in 2.5 years now.
But the interesting thing about the news and the media is that as you have said it, yes, we have said it many times, is that it has changed. Whereby people are now, if they're smart, don't get up in the morning and say, "Let me turn on BBC 6 o'clock in the morning to see what is happening around the world." I mean, this tells us what is happening around the world very easy and quicker, and sometimes you get it really raw. And most of the mainstream media, they piggyback off this. That's why
They
there's
piggyback off of that. Exactly.
yeah. So
Yes,
we've
they
got to
do.
recognize that there's a massive shift and recognize that we are, as I've always said, we are the mainstream media, not persons who have a blog site or a vlog site, but we people. People are now the
Mhm,
media mogul.
mhm,
And
mhm.
that is why they are trying
All
so
me
hard.
remind for them is
Yeah.
instead of go inside of the Gucci store and I buy on a Gucci this and I better go learn for plants, some food, have
Yes,
a
yes,
garden. Okay,
yes.
do a garden, start stocking up on some. canned goods and stuff like that because when they think that the dark now, the
Mm.
dark days not come yet. The dark days never come yet.
Yes. Gary, is it dark, bright?
What's that?
Yeah, Michelle said the dark days are coming. You're gonna need light.
Yeah.
Well, I would go a step further by not only agreeing with Michelle, but also saying that it's dark now. I mean, I think that a blind man, it doesn't matter how much light is shone, blind doesn't know the difference.
Yeah.
Mhm.
And when and because it's dark, and let us say the citizens of our world is already is already conditioned,
Condition. Hmm.
because the citizens have already been conditioned to
Those are the
accept.
words that you gotta use. Condition,
Yeah.
Mm.
Then
program.
and
Yeah.
even right
Yeah.
programmed also. Then
Yeah.
it's dark. It's
So
dark.
certain people now you can't even tell them certain things because they think that you are talking crazy. But
You know.
y'all better get out there and buy a generator.
You
If you
know,
get
you know
a
the
solar
ver-
system
yeah,
going on, you better go buy a generator
Yes.
because
yeah.
you know
Yes.
it's gonna get rough. It's going you we think that it
Mm,
rough now. And
yeah.
the thing that I can't understand with especially with intelligent people that's supposed to be intelligent is that you hear these men, they're talking about it, they're saying it. And it's like, y'all ain't hear what he just said? Bill Gates, these people, listen to what they're saying. It's
Uh,
like, oh no, it go over their head. Come on. I seen whatchamacallit the other day on Facebook, and it was Biden signing some paper, some documents. And you have all cameras inside there in the room with him and everything. And as he was about to sign, he said under his breath, I don't even know what I'm signing, but yet still I'm still I sign it. And do you know when the person tried to put it on Facebook, they block it out. They said like they're saying false whatever false information out, but it's what a camera picked up with him saying.
mm.
People better start thinking and better start preparing. That's what we got to start doing, preparing. Okay? Bill Gates said. Bill Gates said them are depopulate. Don't know what depopulation mean. You better know.
So we're talking about Bill Gates, and also Elon Musk. They're having their war.
Elon Musk and all that. They
Yeah.
talking about that this electric car. Them can't keep them electric car
Yes.
because what that is now is that you could be driving, and if them feel like the government or whoever feel like they want to just say cut this person off, all you dep on the highway, them can't just shut your car down.
Mm.
Yeah. I
And
mean,
people not
yes, they can, and the people don't realize that.
and people not realizing that stuff. Them think that it's technology. It's tech.
And everybody want to get into the high tech thing. It's like
Get
with
into that. No,
mm,
these
mm,
are things that you got. And a lot of people watch movies, and
yes.
y'all don't watch the movie. I want to watch the movie, and it's like them don't realize that it
Not picking up
associated with what some. Yeah, you know,
subtle
old
messages.
movie.
Subtle messages are coming through. Subliminal messages are
These
coming through.
movies, and they're not people just not seeing it. They just think that them just go to watch a movie and that's it.
Mhm. Can I just go on further, Gary? I don't know if you saw that Boris Johnson, as the conservative, put forth this thing, and it's on the government website. Right to buy extension to make home ownership possible for millions more people. The Prime Minister has announced 2.5 million tenants renting their homes from housing associations will be given the right to buy them outright. What do you think about that? Is that the regurgitating of the Thatcher era?
Well, it is. It is. I mean,
Wait, isn't it good?
I mean,
People
is
would like
do
that.
you think that it is the right thing to do right now? I mean, they even want to make it. They even want to um make it possible for those who are, even if I'm not mistaken, correct me here, still, even those
Uh,
who are on benefits. they want to be able to allow the benefits to pay for their living. Now you tell me that, is that right, Sil? Is it because when interest rates go up, yeah, when interest rates go up, these guys, these families, these men, these women, right, who are basing their living on the benefits, they don't have a job. They don't have a job that they're getting up every morning going to. They get their benefits paid into their accounts.
So,
And many of them today already have problems in getting their benefits. You
yeah,
see, what's going on, Sil and Mish, is that just like what you've mentioned about electric cars and the control of electric cars and the movement of people, it's about controlling the lives of the population. It's all about control. That's what it is.
Population control, and that's
Yeah,
what it is.
that's what it is.
so
But you
so what you,
see,
what so what you're actually saying, Gary, is that might as well the government just give the people them the house because it
well, give
is
them, yeah,
hold on. It is benefits, taxpayers' money going straight into buying these properties. So might as well just give them the house, isn't it, Michelle?
Well, it's
But
just that we
no, because
don't really.
at the end of the day, as Gary
So
pointed out,
when we say
inflation.
we own a house, we don't really own a house. You don't really own the house. You really don't, because I live in a subdivision, and if you don't pay your subdivision fee every year, they can put a lien on your house. So you really don't own your house.
You're
You
you're
you
you're talking about where there's a lease. You're talking about the lease factor there. Is what
no. You buy your house. You build your house. Build the house. Okay.
yeah.
House is built. You live in a subdivision. We call it subdivision here that you live in. You
Okay.
have your taxes that you got to pay for your land tax,
Yes.
your property tax, plus you have your association fees that you got to pay to live in here. These are fees that, like, your neighbors can come and just put up a mechanic shop, like start a mechanic shop or start a business. So this is what you call your association fees.
Yes.
You miss your association fee for cover and see if them don't put a lien by your house. All right. So you really don't want no.
What you're talking about, if you're not diligently and prudent with your financial ish care, then they're going to try to get it back based on your assets.
Exactly. They'll come and take this house
Yeah.
from you.
So
You
therefore,
just own it.
but in a way,
Because once you want
it is still yours because it's your asset. But because
no,
you own something,
you
the
owe
court
upon it.
will take it to court.
Me couldn't pay off my tax. Me couldn't pay off for my house. But still
Yeah.
gotta pay for that property tax that is on. Okay. And I still gotta pay that serious association fee.
Yes.
All right.
Yeah.
And if me not pay this association fee, them still can't put a lien for my house.
Yeah. Because if you owe them, they're going to try to find where they
Yeah, but
can
who are
actually.
you? I just pay for I'm just paying for just for you to have a rule in within the subdivision. But who are you that you're gonna put a lien on my house just because I don't pay that fee? You don't
But
own nothing.
it would go through the court process, wouldn't it be in the states?
And guess what? That the court is gonna side because
Yeah.
that's how it is.
Yeah. Yeah. I hear what you're saying, but what I'm actually saying from a legal perspective is if somebody owe a debt, they're going to try to get the debt from the person and to get it cleared. If they can't work out any arrangements or plan of it or so, the company that owes the debt will take it to court, and then they'll try to put, as you rightly say, the lien on the property, on and to make sure that at least they have it secured that if anything they can come and take the house.
Not on the property. They put the lien on the house because them
On,
can't put
yeah,
on the
yeah,
property
yeah,
because of
yeah,
this state
yeah, yeah.
and
So
whatever
yeah,
property,
yeah.
you know.
But
So what is that
yeah,
you have a lot
it,
of that own my
hmm,
house. You don't really own shit in America.
yeah, yeah. The right to buy scheme for the
Nothing.
UK, yeah, for the UK here, the right to buy scheme extend to housing association tenants with government pledging to build a new social home for everyone sold. You hear that, Gary? Because one of the things they were talking about with the right to buy previously is that it took those houses totally off the market, and therefore people on benefits and persons needing a council house couldn't find it. Universal credit form will incentivize more hardworking people to save for a house deposit. Review of mortgage lending market will aim to turn more of generation rent into generation buy. Isn't that a master stroke to sort of help people getting them on the ladder at the same
No,
time?
No.
no. I
Why
mean,
not?
still,
Why not?
let me let's go back. And
Yes.
it's okay. I'm hoping that there are more people in the UK that's listening to what you're saying right now. 'Cause I think as a lawyer, I don't know if you know a little bit about the law where land is concerned here.
Mm. Not
Sil.
not
I
my
don't
area of
know.
specialty, I must say. Yeah.
Right, it's not your
Mm.
specialty, but you may know a little bit about it.
Yes.
But what they're not saying, what what's not really being said here is,
Yes.
for instance, we have a property here. Um, we've got our own home, yeah, here in the UK. We've paid off for it and everything,
Mm.
right? It's freehold. But the thing about it, my friend, is that the Queen is the Queen's land. The Queen can come in and take it from us at any time.
Mm.
That is something, right? That you and I, and everybody from Jamaica come here and say we want a piece of land and we want a property to put, and we 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 toil long and hard, 25 years, 30 years, and some of us may even remortgage to build on top or to do
Extended
something or to extend
renovation.
or
Yes.
whatever, right?
Mm.
And we work a further 5 years to pay off the remortgage so that we are debt free. But I think what is not told the people of this here United Kingdom is that even when you've paid off for it, the
Well,
land still belongs to the monarch,
The crown. Mm.
the crown.
exactly. It's not yours.
It's not. It will never be ours.
Yeah.
No.
Yeah.
So listen. So
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
even with the good
I'll have to come back on
listen,
those bits there
yeah,
regarding
we'll
crown
back on
land at the
that.
same time.
But
Yes.
but but still,
Yeah.
look, with all the good intentions, right? That your prime minister wants to
The Prime
do,
Minister of the
right?
UK. Yes.
With the
Not
prime
yours.
minister,
Still.
not
Not
mine.
yours.
No. What
It's
what
the Prime Minister of the
what
UK.
what the good intentions, yes, of what Mr. Johnson wants to do in regards to give people property and such. This ain't the right time to do it, and he's only trying to buy vote, and he's only trying to appease those who are in his party to buy him time to do what he wants to do. That's all. It's all a
And then,
political ploy,
So,
nothing
so,
else.
so,
yeah.
so,
And when
so what?
it
Sorry, Michelle. Sorry, Michelle. Go ahead. Sorry, Michelle. Go ahead.
and then when it gets in action, really and truly, it's not to benefit the people. It's really to benefit him, and that's it.
To benefit who?
Him
Him.
benefit
Who?
them.
The
It
government.
really them really do it for set help the people. Really, it's a benefit for them, the government.
Yeah, but
When they come
okay.
with all
But
this stuff, it's not for really the people. Them
yeah.
have them agenda behind that.
Listen. As far as I'm concerned, everyone should have an agenda. If you don't have an agenda, somebody's going to have an agenda for you. That's my philosophy. So people have to have an agenda. Government will set their policies, and their policies is there for the period of time while they're in government or beyond. Hi, Scotty. How are you? Um, as far as I'm concerned, are you trying to say to me that helping people to get on the ladder to own their home is not conducive at this time, Gary? What's the
That's what
alternative?
no, that's what I'm saying.
So
Now is not the time.
so when is
Now is not the time.
when would be the right time?
Well, it's certainly not now because heating is going through the roof. A lot of these people who are renting, they don't even um They can't find the money. Rent has gone up.
No,
They can't find the money to pay the rent.
Yeah. But
I
but
have a,
but,
And
I
then and then they have to be choosing whether to heat the house or to buy the food.
but there's
I have
some.
my
God.
niece
Yeah.
just moved in to her new apartment, new development, and she moved in last year, and she was paying $1,700 a month,
Is that mortgage
right?
money? Isn't that mortgage money?
Okay, listen.
Go
So
on.
she
Yes.
was paying $1,700 a month last year.
Yes.
Do you know that they put her rent up starting next month, $2,100 shall pay a month?
Mm. And
21. You don't even get pay raise in your paycheck. You never even get a raise like that yet. A cent you get raise, and you're gonna push that rent up over $400 more, and it's legal for you to do it here in the state of Florida.
now this is a point here, and this is what many people have been talking about. With the high level of and the cost of rent now, these are mortgage money. And they have been I can't remember who told me, but somebody I believe got some project or got some funding. Somebody mentioned it to me. I think Sharika is here. Sharika mentioned it to me. That somebody got some funding recently to work with people who are paying rent and try to use it to get them to get mortgage, because it shows that they've got the ability to pay their rent. Hence the reason why, and try to get them 100% mortgage, because the money that people are paying for rent and what I'm hearing for rent, those are some serious figures,
Yes, it is, because
which is
that's more
mortgage.
what we pay for mortgage here. That's more than mortgage money.
Yes. I think someone is in the States just Gary is saying he's got to do something. Somebody just said something a while ago, which is relating to what you said, Michelle. It is Noreen. She said, in some places in Baltimore, the ground rent, you may own the home but not the land. I think that's leaseholders, isn't it? I think that maybe is what they call leaseholders. You know?
That's not what we call leasehold owners over here. When you do leasing, is
Yes.
when you're renting. That's when you do lease. That's what we call lease over here.
Yes.
Is when you rent, you signed a lease. But here, this house is built from scratch.
Yes.
You know, built from scratch, you're paying mortgage. You're
Yes.
supposed to own the house, but like me say, you don't own nothing. At
Yes.
least I know here in America, you own nothing in America. So
Yes.
like here, when you have my house, I buy my house, you don't own nothing.
Yes.
Own it.
Gary said he's off. Gary, when you're ready to come back. Scotty just said something a while ago. I haven't heard from UIC. Do you know what's happening? I don't know, Scotty. You're the one who's more abreast of it. I'll have to maybe send a message. You know it's UIC, Michelle, of course.
Well, UIC, I heard what I'm hearing from them is like, they don't want, what's the name of the guy?
Mr. Patterson?
Mr. Patterson, them want him for come out and get somebody else because they must say, um, the don the donation that's being given, instead of him giving it to, like, paying some of the people them, he's just paying him and his wife.
Are you serious? Okay, well.
Mhm.
Scotty, you're Scotty, so that's some of the thing which is going on there, Scotty. But listen, while we're at it there, Britain's captured by Russian forces, sentenced to death. What am gonna a fight gonna entangle with Russia? I don't know, Michelle. You'd have run down a different Russia or Ukraine. Why people don't drink what they call it, drink water and mind their own business?
And mind your own business. Just the other day, I was watching Luciana perform on stage, and my ear my talk about Russia
Yes,
and where they and about Putin and all that. I had to tell this man, and that's one of my family. I had
yes,
to tell this man, do your performance and leave that out of your mouth because you don't even know a history for you to even say where you're on stage right now. Do the performance and mind
yes,
your own business. Don't bring that politics mess into your performance on
yes,
stage. Yeah,
yes.
what he was saying about Russia, I'm like, man, do you really know what you're really saying?
Well, as they say, Russia say, what you say, what you say, I go and mash up a country. Now, Scotty mentioned something. It's a different topic, Scotty, but as we're wrapping up, I just bring it up there. The Jamaican scientist was murdered in Buffalo, but no one mentioned anything. Oh, Gary, you're back. Sorry, Gary, you're back. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. I haven't heard about that Buffalo the scientist from that took place here. Gary,
Oh,
where
no, you heard
sorry.
about it. He's talking about the security guard that I told you the other day that died.
Oh yes, yes,
That's
yes,
what he's talking about. That's what
yes.
he's talking
You're
about.
right about that. We
And,
need to follow. We need to follow up on it because I did
and it's
remember
not really
the
that he
guy with
was
the
a
car, the
scientist.
guy
It's
with the
just
car with
him
water,
invent
isn't it?
him invent a machine thing that your car can run on water, and
Yes. So therefore, there's a saying that many things can be organized, orchestrated for one particular thing, which you
ex-
might think is
you never
insignificant.
know that. You didn't know that. Come on now. Look at the judge that they just killed. The judge that they killed, they assassinated in his house, and they had McCullen on the list too.
Yes,
And
yeah,
they're gonna do the wordplay of domestic terrorism. Those are all word plays. Ain't no
yes,
such thing as no domestic terrorism. There's no such thing.
yes,
These
yes,
are I'm sorry, this your program and everything, but let me tell you something. All of that will happen. CIA, FBI, everybody, the whole of them involved in that. Give me a break. That was a hit and not no domestic terrorism.
wow, wow. So you see, so ladies and gentlemen, to find out what is happening, you need to tune in to Sylbourne TV Live with Gary and Michelle because you're not gonna get a diluted thing with no mix up because nobody's controlling it. If they want to shut it down, they shut it down all the while. I always said that all the while. It's up to them if they what they want to do, you know. We just need to create our own space, create
Exactly.
our own table, create our
It's
own
just
desk.
like the other day, one little thing. The other day I was in, I think it was the group that you had on yesterday. Is it Jamaica?
Facilities for better Jamaica, yes.
Something like that. And they put something with a little youth when mother did send him go to store for go buy milk and something for make porridge, right?
Hmm.
But the little youth come back with a bulla and some and a soda. So
Okay.
the mother is filming him and videotaping him and saying, "Oh, you forgot and you buy the bulla and you buy this and that." And said, "Me never feel for no porridge today." Right? Him never feel for no porridge. So him use the mother now. Suppose that's the only little money the mother have to go stretch for she and the two kids them and whatever. So I
Mm.
put on it. People think it's funny. I didn't think it was funny. So I put on it. Funny but not funny. He needs his ass whooped. And
Yes.
so right away, Facebook shut me down for much days, and
Really?
said, yeah, I went against their guideline and this and that. Just yesterday, they when they told me to fill out whatever, when I give to them and say, when I give to them, I tell them, and them I tell them about for pick that you do, you think I'm for tell them that me not think not me know.
So hold on. So hold on. Do you get a lawyer? Do
They
you
came
get a
back yesterday and they apologized and said that it was wrong and whatever. Come you tell them
yeah.
that more want to know who's your fact checkers. Tell me who's your fact
So,
checkers.
so tell me, wait a second. When you're in prison, because I've never been there before, do you get a priest or a lawyer to come and bail you guys out?
No, me give to them myself, man. Me give to them. I let them know. No, I'll shut this mess down. And it ain't nothing for me to come off of Facebook. But you're not gonna dictate to me on how to speak or what am I so when I'm grown. You don't do that.
and and most times it is someone actually who maybe reported it, if anything,
Just
and
for
they
come
don't think.
say him need a ass whipping. Yes, him did need a beating because your mother send you go store for go buy something and you go buy bull and soda.
Well,
Me not
well,
think that was funny.
well. Listen. On that note, there. I mean, this Saturday night, Gary, you may have heard and you may have seen, and Michelle knows as well, and persons from Jamaica. I've been seeing a lot of these children, getting fighting and all of those things in Jamaica, the lockdown, children beating up teacher as well. I don't know if you saw that, Gary.
Yeah,
Yeah.
so I couldn't believe that. I
Yeah.
really could not believe that.
Well,
You know.
well, well. This Saturday night on Talk and Sip, I'm supposed to be getting a guidance counselor from Jamaica, a chairman for a high school, and another teacher as well, maybe coming on to talk about this whole aspect of this thing, the whole discipline, because I'm hearing so much things happening there. One of the things I heard is that you saw all those tablets that they're getting. These tablets going around with, they're watching pornographic on it big time. The kids, you know,
Oh.
that it's gone because it. You see, if you understand this, the children are getting these tablets. The parents don't understand these tablets. Remember that. And that is one of the problems, and with the Wi-Fi. So therefore, it's an open zone. I got a niece who is a teacher, and she said, "Uncle, so out of a class of 35 during the time when they were in lockdown, something about 5 or so turn up. So where are the other children during the course of that time during the lockdown? Where are they? And parents are working, going to work. Jamaica is not a place where you can get benefits from. And when children are, you talk about whipping him. I could never dare lift up my hand to a teacher. I would have to be. I think people will be going to my funeral the next day, and my parents going to make another one.
I like Jamaica 8.
They make another Sylbourne.
What can you just swing, man, in the classroom then? Some can you just swing. You know what I'm saying? I remember that distinctly, that you never have no disrespectful kids like that in the classroom. No. Because the first thing you have to put your hand out and get a cane, you lash it in your hand, may go.
Yes.
Yeah.
So Saturday night, guys. As we wrap up, that's going to be taking place, and one of the persons that I'm going to have is Wesley Boynes. And if I can find the details for him, he's going to be coming on this Saturday night. Wesley Boynes, actually, this gentleman actually was my the person who married me and my wife in Jamaica in 2001, and he's the principal of a high school in Jamaica called Northgate High School. Um, and he's a former president of Jamaica Independent School Association, current senior elder of Philadelphia Life Center, and a certified behavioral therapist. So he's got some ideas. And sorry, and also I'll be having a guidance counselor. I believe he's from Woolmer's. Will be coming on as well, and and for people to come on. So, Garry, come on. I'm sorry.
The principal fainted.
Yeah, that principal fainted when they heard. Have you heard that one?
Female, and then I heard it was male. I was like, "What the heck?"
Principal fainted.
I mean, it was laughable. It was sad. It shouldn't happen, but it's laughable to know that he fainted because one of his students boxed down a teacher. I mean,
you look like a little punk now, because when I heard and the principal fainted, and I'm well, it must be a female principal. Then I realized, I said it's a male principal that fainted.
Listen. I have some teachers that I can't remember their name from primary school. Miss Bishop, Mother Pepper. When them ready, them walk with them we call their strap. One time I was there reading a book, Virgin. I'm there reading this book, a comic strip me reading, and guess what? The reading book was turned upside down. So I read the comic strip with the book upside down. So she come around and walk, and I'm here on my back. Ow, bend up like a S. And to this day, I'm 53 years of age, and there are a couple of teachers from high school who actually follow me. And anytime they comment on my page or so, do you know what I say? Hi, miss. Yes, miss. I still call them miss.
Yes, of course.
Still call them miss to this day.
Mm-hmm.
I always say I'm proud of you, Sylbourne, and blah, 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 And I say, yes, miss. Yes, miss. Same way I call these teachers who are still alive and follow me on Facebook. So I think there's a need for that, and for children to recognize this, and the village is what I believe is totally missing out on, the village factor.
Well, it starts at home, but yet still, guess what? We have the government too much in our homes, because they're the one who's running out.
Yes.
Because as if you lick the pit now out certain way, them says child abuse.
Child
It's
abuse.
this and it's that, you know.
Yeah, yeah.
So we'll see you on,
We'll
on Saturday.
Saturday night. Well,
Yeah.
well, Gary, any last word, Gary?
Well, we just want the rest of the rest of the world. We just need the world to know what's going on, and
Yes.
that they must not be hoodwinked by
Yes.
by those that they believe know what they're doing, because they don't know what they're doing.
I agree with you. I don't think they know what they're doing. Totally. They're just enjoying the moment that they have in power and the
Yes.
perks of everything. Ladies and gentlemen, I want to thank you so much for joining tonight. Scotty, I don't know what the Jamaican government is doing about that, boss. I'm not a part of the Jamaican government. Can't speak for the Jamaican government. I only can speak for my government right here in London, my house. That's my government. And as Michelle would say, they mean we want to kick you out of your own government house.
All right, Gary.
All right then, Miss. You
Thank
take
you.
care, man.
Okay, bye
Good to
bye.
see you.
Bye.
Yes,
Thank you.
take
Thank
care.
you. Thank you. And for those on Instagram, want to thank you so much for joining as well. And for those on Facebook, remember to like and subscribe. Remember to follow the show every Thursday night. We're here and we get the numbers growing. And Gary, you need to check out Gary program. Gary, when is your programs again? Because you have your program every 3 hours. You're live doing that.
I
Tell us
wasn't
about your
able.
program.
I wasn't able to be on today because I was a little occupied for a
Yes.
greater part of the day. But I'm on daily between the hours of 11 GMT, 11 or up to 1:30, 2 o'clock GMT, and I'm usually on for about 45 minutes to an hour.
Yes. And you're teaching on biblical principles, isn't it?
Well, yes. I mean, what it is that I'm focusing on at this moment is the book of James, the epistle that that the chief apostle James was writing to the diaspora, the Jewish
Yes.
diaspora, the Hebrews that was spread out throughout the world, and it's quite interesting, really.
Wow. And ladies and gentlemen, on that note as well, you can tune in for an appropriate and opportune time where we'll be talking about God and government as well, which is something that Gary and I will be talking about in the future, not so far from now, dropping some serious gems and getting some life-changing principles in our lives. All right, Gary?
Yes.
Okay.
So true, my friend.
Yeah.
So true.
So take care of yourself, guys, and see you Saturday evening. And remember to follow me on my walk and talk motivational moments in the park, listening to the birds, running away from the dogs, and keeping fit. That's the most important thing at this time. Remember, don't get into the lockdown mode, not the isolation mode, not the shielding mode, and not the quarantine mode. Be free. Boom. Have a good night, guys. Bye-bye. Thank you.
God bless.